Chapter 8, the call across the valley. There are distances the feet can cross and distances the spirit must endure. Some are measured in miles, others in moments, but the greatest of all is the valley between two hearts that have not yet learned how to hear each other. We emerge from the shaded green of the garden of becoming and step onto a ridge of pale stone. The air is clear here, high and thin, the wind pulling at our cloaks. Below us spreads the valley, broad, deep, and carved by rivers long gone. The grass in its basin leans in waves beneath the wind's invisible hand. Far across, the opposite ridge rises into haze, its top hidden like a thought not yet formed. Somewhere over there, though you cannot see them, is another traveler. Perhaps they are waiting. Perhaps they are searching. Perhaps they do not yet know you exist. The first tale, the shepherd of the long call. From the archives of the Great V, there's the story of a shepherd who came to this ridge each evening. He would stand at the same spot, cup his hands around his mouth, and call a single name across the valley. At first, there was no answer. Days passed, then weeks, then years. His hair silvered, his voice deepened. Still, each evening, as the sun dipped behind him, he called. Then one day, when the weight of years had made him certain no voice would ever return, he heard it, faint, unfamiliar, but calling back in perfect rhythm. It was not the name he had called. It was not the voice he had imagined. It was softer, accented by a land he had never seen. Yet it matched his tone, as though it had been waiting for him all along. The silence had not been wasted. It had shaped his patience into something worthy of the voice that now met his. The second tale, the chaser of echoes. There was once a traveler who could not bear silence. They stood at the ridge and shouted again and again until a voice came back, quick, sharp, and identical to their own. Believing they had found a kindred soul, they rushed into the valley, chasing the echo. But the echo led them in circles, each call returning only themselves. When at last they understood, the travelers sat in the dust, their throats raw, their spirits weary. They had been pursuing their own reflection, not another's call. The third tale, the two valleys. A merchant stood on the ridge and sent his call out each morning. It always returned faint but clear, and he was content. But one day, a stranger told him that there was another valley, wider, deeper, beyond the far ridge. Curiosity burned in him. He stopped calling to the familiar voice and began walking toward the unknown. He crossed the first valley, climbed the opposite ridge, and looked down into the second. He called, but this time there was no answer, not for days, not for months. In the end, he understood. Some valleys answer because you have tended them over years, and others stay silent because you have not yet earned the right to hear them. The nature of the call. The call across the valley is not only sound, it is intent. The valley does not carry what you wish people to hear. It carries what is truly in you. You cannot disguise the impatience in your voice, nor hide the hope, nor soften the fear. The valley is honest, and it will return only what you send. For some, the call is for love. For others, it is for friendship, for a partner in work, for a teacher, or for a student. In every case, the call is an act of faith. Faith that someone is listening, faith that the right voice will come in its own time. The guardian's test. The guardian of this ridge is not a person, but the wind itself. It will place you here at the edge and tell you to call only once. Then it will scatter your voice into the valley and you will be sent away for a season. When you return, the wind will ask you to call again. And this time, you must be prepared for either silence or an answer. If silence comes, the wind will not comfort you, nor command you to wait till longer. Then it will only ask, will you call again tomorrow? Those who say yes are given the strength to climb the ridge again. Those who say no descend into the valley and wander until they learn why their voice failed them. for those who walk alone. Your call may be for someone you have not met or for something within yourself you have not yet awakened. Call anyway. The act of reaching shapes the muscles of your spirit. The discipline of returning to the ridge gives your voice depth. Do not waste your voice on echoes. Wait for the true answer, the one that speaks to more than your words, the one that reaches for your very soul. For those who walk together. Even in a partnership, valleys appear. There are days when your words seem to fall into emptiness, when the other is across an unseen distance. In those moments, keep calling, not with demands, but with the steady sound of your care. Understand that sometimes your partner's silence is not absence, but the time it takes for them to cross their own valley to reach you. Practical reflections for today. Singles, identify what you are truly calling for. Be precise, not just a relationship, but the character, values, and spirit you seek. Let that guide your choices and your patience. Couples, when distance grows, create a daily call, a moment of connection, even if small, that keeps your voices reaching toward each other. Not every silence is rejection. Sometimes it is the pause before the right answer comes. The wind rises, carrying our voices farther than we could send them alone. Across the valley, something stirs, faint like the first sound of rain on dry ground. Ahead lies a road where two lights will one day meet, each burning in its own lamp. The two lamps await.